What up,
everybody? Yeah, I cut the intro short because we didn't need to sit there for 3 minutes and let the same thing play on a loop, and then I messed up the countdown. So everybody got a glimpse of us just sitting here like, what? But what's up, everybody? It's Nick, the Lost River Drive-In. I'm here with Justin, as always, on Mondays or Tuesdays, whatever day tickles our fancy that week. And we reeled in the big fish, Christian Hanna Horror, over here. CHH, what's up, man?
Big
buddy? Fish. What's going on, brothers? How y'all doing?
Doing pretty good.
Good. Good deal. Yeah.
Justin, I think I was getting some echo from you for a second there.
I just have my headphones in, so
okay. Maybe I could be on crack. I mean, we'll find out. But so everybody knows we got Michael Myers back. We got Ghostface back. But there's been this guy down here in the bottom left box here that's just been like banging the table about Leatherface coming back and patiently or not so patiently waiting for that. We get our trailer yesterday, and I'll just start with you, Christian. You know, I watched your video, so I know your thoughts, but anybody that didn't watch it, what are your thoughts, man? What'd you think of this trailer?
Thought it was an entertaining, fun trailer, but I think I'm trying to find the word, general or whatever. The consensus is a little bit of like, oh, when we saw Sally Hardesty, whether it be bad timing or what, I think a lot of people were just kind of like, well, that doesn't look pretty good because it just looks like copycat, but I did think that the trailer looked fun and entertaining, and I thought Leatherface looked really disgusting and gross, and I really wanted to see a lot of that party bus scene in the movie, just carnage and a little bit of Chainsaw 2 humor. It seemed just silliness in there. Maybe not as dark, maybe more like Texas Chainsaw 3D humor, which is fine by me. I think that's gonna be cool, but time will tell. But I thought the trailer was a good trailer, and I think a lot of people probably, you're never going to be appeased to the level of what the first 2 or 3 are. It's just not going to happen, and that's fine. But I think this movie, I think a lot of people, when they saw the trailer, they were like, well, okay, because when they hear Netflix, they think they dumped this thing into nothing because they were so like embarrassed about it. I just don't think that's the case. I think COVID had a lot to do with it, and maybe they thought maybe we can get this Netflix deal to be good for us. And I'm sure they didn't just do it for free. They didn't just give it to Netflix. There was a monetary exchange, I'm sure. So I think when people saw the trailer, they calmed down a little bit, and they're like, well, okay, this is a movie. This isn't, stuff. But I'm excited for the movie. I think it'll be entertaining at the end of the day.
Hell yeah. What about you, Justin?
I thought the trailer was fun. I found it enjoyable. I not hyping myself for this movie, but I think like most of these films, I think it's going to be fun. If anything, I think we'll have a good time with it. I don't think it's going to be bad. I could be wrong, but I think it's going to be an entertaining movie, if anything. And I kind of like it clearly, like in the trailer with Sally's return, it really does feel like Halloween 2018 with Laurie Strode. But when they announced that they were bringing Sally back, I thought that was kind of cool. I was like, okay, that's going to be neat. We really haven't seen Sally, the character of Sally, in the franchise in a very long time. And so I'm looking forward to it. Overall, and in general, I'm going to look forward to this movie.
Yeah, I think both of you guys agree. As long as the movie is better than this one right here, I think you'll both be happy. I think most people will be happy as long as this is better than that. Though I don't hate that movie. I just thought it was pointless. But I feel the same way. Christian and I have kind of talked about this at length for well over a month now. Periodically, we've revisited this conversation. I have no issue with the plot line of Sally Hardesty coming back. That's not because I didn't have an issue with it in Halloween 2018. I don't think it's a bad plot line. I just think that we're gonna get into dangerous territory where this is really going to start to get overused. I think it's going to start to get overused with some big franchises. And Christian and I were talking about this last night. I would not be surprised if you see Nightmare pull this route too when it comes back, bringing Nancy back, and let's make a sequel to one of the original films and just kind of be like a requel. I mean, like Scream was obviously commenting on, like, I just feel like this is the way things are headed right now in the horror landscape with these older classic properties. And for better or worse, I don't personally have that big of a problem with it, but you're going to get a lot of people that are going to, they're really just going to bitch about it. And, for right or wrong, but, I think it looks cool. I think that it looks competently made. I mean, the guy that directed it, he looks like he's got a good eye for, to how to shoot a scene. Leatherface. That's one thing I want to talk about. The first topic that we'll go into here in a sec is the look of Leatherface. I mean, I want to know your guys' opinions on this new look, because I like it, but it's a departure from what we're used to. I mean, it looks like a face that was like cut off. Oh shit. It really does. Like it doesn't look like a Halloween mask that you would buy somewhere. This looks like somebody's face was literally cut off and he's wearing it. So I guess that's the first thing we're going to talk about. I mean, Justin, I'll start with you. What do you think about the look of Leatherface? How, do you like it? Do you want more of like the 2003 TCM beginning type look? Where are you at?
No, I mean, I don't need it to look like the 2003 movie or any of them. But I'm like, it took me a little bit to get used to it. I don't know. The first time I saw it, I was like, okay, and I think I'm 50-50 with it. Like, I don't hate it, but I don't love it. Like I said, I've watched the trailer maybe 3 or 4 times now, and I'm soaking in with it. So, hey, they went a different route with it, and that's awesome. They didn't try to copycat, another mask from the franchise.
Yeah. Christian, what do you think about Old Man Leatherface?
I think it's a grindhouse version of the new beginning of the beginning kind of look. Mm-hmm. I think it's really cool. I was telling this to Piz earlier. I was like, he was showing the photo of when he pops his head out of the I already thought that image is iconic. I mean, first time I saw it, I said, holy shit, that's cool. I like it. I think he looks like he literally just got done chopping bodies up and beef all day. He looks really gross and dirty. But there's also that beautiful macabre in part 2 of like the when he's wearing the suit.
Yeah.
So it's just look, we don't know if he's gonna change clothes in this movie. We don't know if he's well, obviously we see he makes a face in the movie, he holds it up in the sun, but um I like it. I think it's really cool, and I think it's really gross. So I'm already on board. I think I think without question, Leatherface will be the best part of this movie, and I think
Mhm.
that I think they did a really good job on the look. I love that nasty, gross looking Leatherface.
Yeah, I think that this is a really good look. I think you could have played it safe and been like, oh, let's go with what's worked before. But I like the more realistic approach. I think it literally does look like a face that was cut off. So I'm quite a fan of that. But Bobby asks in the chat, which is our favorite look of Leatherface?
Mm, I think mine would be. I don't know. That's tough. I don't know. That's a tough one for me. I like the look in part 2. Um, and like Christian said, I like the tuxedo with it. It's really cool. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go the 2000, either 2003 or the beginning look, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the beginning. It's a toss up.
Christian, favorite look.
To me, everything has come so second fiddle to that iconic pretty lady shot in the tuxedo at the end of part 1. I don't think anything is going to top that.
Yeah, that's a classic.
Yeah,
Classic.
I mean, I feel like for me, I think that the best Leatherface has ever looked is it's probably part 1, just in the sense of like that down to earth, grimy, old school look. But I will say, I think that my favorite was probably the beginning, and that was just because he was very like. A lot of times with these sequels, obviously, as you know, you can get very episodic and things can get almost larger than life where they don't even really seem like a person anymore. They seem like, I mean, look at Michael Myers, for example, like every time he kills, he transcends. Like, you can get into that territory. I liked at the beginning, like really stripped it down to basics. And like, he just looked like a dirty, poor dude that didn't know how to shower, didn't know how to brush his teeth, and just liked to cut people up. I mean, I really liked that look too. I don't feel like there's been a movie though that has given a bad look. I mean, I know I'm not the biggest fan of The Next Generation, but a lot of people like that look. I mean, Christian, I believe you're one of them, right? Like you like that. You appreciate that look.
It's got this raw, earnest approach to it. Like his clothes look like he bought them from Goodwill, and like there's this earnesty to like his outfit. Maybe not the mask so much. The mask is probably a little bit weaker, but his clothes were very earnest in The Next Generation. They look like he went to Goodwill and bought those camouflage pants or whatever. So yeah, there's things I like about probably all the Leatherfaces. My second favorite's 3D. I really love the look of 3D.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I love that. I love that look. Absolutely. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a scene, so we got a taste of it in the trailer. I want to know your guys' thoughts on this. I'm interested in the chat's thoughts on this too, especially Mike. He's in here talking about it. So I had heard like 2 months ago from somebody that had seen this movie. He was like crapping on this scene. He was like, there's a scene on a party bus where these kids are like Instagram live streaming this, and Leatherface comes in and kills them all. And I was like, oh, that sounds horrible. And then the shot you get in the trailer of him just like pinning someone to the ceiling with the chainsaw on the party bus, I was like, this actually might be really fun. What I'm sure you guys know what scene I'm talking about. I mean, what do you think of that? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Okay. I mean, it was fine. I like the ending of it. I was like, damn, like he just took that chainsaw and like got that guy. That was cool. And it's a modern movie. I mean, they're kind of fitting in with today's times. I don't have a problem with it. But yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be a really, really fun, bloody, bloodshed moment in the movie. So
Yeah.
I don't mind.
I don't know. I mean, Christian, you know, you hear that premise on paper and you're like, oh, that's kind of sounds like shit. And then you see that shot in the trailer and you're like, I mean, maybe that won't be too bad. I don't know. Where do you land on that?
When we were talking about it, I remember saying, I was like, I think this movie's going to kind of turn that social justice thing on its head a little bit in a respectful, fun way. And I think that trailer, I think I was right, because I think that scene is saying, look, we got to make fun of ourselves. We have to. We gotta make fun of the cell phone teeny bopping, you know, live streaming. I'm gonna cancel you thing. I think it's gonna turn it on its head. And I think when people saw that, I think that this movie, it's not gonna be anyone's favorite. And they're going to be like, oh, you know what, man, if they would have got rid of the Sally thing, or if they would have done this or this, I would think this movie's like this level. But I really think that this film is going to be a popcorn, you know, just fun movie. Yeah. It's not going to be the original, but I think that this movie is going to kind of turn my suspicion, or my good suspicions of what I thought the film was going to be. I thought that the trailer basically it was what I thought it was going to be, which was it's going to kind of turn it on its head in a fun way. So I'm actually more excited now after seeing the trailer. I mean, the Sally thing again, I just think whether it's poor timing. I don't know when they started making this film. I'm sure it was after Halloween 2018, but because I know it's been a while. It's supposed to come out a while
early
ago,
2020. It was early 2020 or late 2019 that they started filming it.
Right. You know, it's just, if this movie has a good sense of humor and it's just like, look, guys, we're just going to kill everybody and just have a good time, whatever. I think that'll actually help the Sally Hardesty thing. Now, I can only speculate, but I do think that this movie's going to have moments that people are going to be talking about.
Oh yeah.
In their review. I mean, in that trailer, you know, it's funny because nobody's really complained to me about that trailer. Oh, they revealed too much. It was just like, you know what? That scene was awesome. That part was awesome. That part was awesome. So there's always going to be a lot of negativity, and F this movie. You know, I'm sticking with I had somebody say, no thanks, I'm sticking to the original. Fine. You're telling me you're not going to watch it? I don't believe you.
Yeah.
You know? But, you know, I think it's actually going to turn the social justice thing on its head in a fun way and really poke fun at it.
I mean, imagine that shit. You know, imagine as a horror fan, Justin, for me and you, imagine we only watched Halloween 1978 and every sequel we're like, nope, not doing it. Then nothing is going to surpass the original. And Christian, imagine if you did that with like Return of the Living Dead or Nightmare on Elm Street. It's like, how can you? There are redeeming qualities in all of these sequels. Like I don't care who you are. Like,
it's so funny. Nightmare on Elm Street specifically. I see people, they're just diehard Nightmare on Elm Street fans, but like they only like two of them. You know, it's just like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was listening to a podcast today that honestly pissed me off because it was like these people doing a retrospective on the Halloween franchise, and they're like, there's two really good movies and the rest are just like shit, and like they're all laughing about it and blah blah blah, and I'm like,
but they watch them all the time. What are we doing here? You know,
and you're covering them on a podcast to make money because you know people like them, so you know, go whatever. I
mean, some people say I can only like an original movie, but I'm like, y'all own all the movies. Like, don't be saying you've never seen the films. You own all of them. I mean, we all own like franchises.
I own Jigsaw. It doesn't mean I want to, but I own it.
I think that's great, but I think Texas Chainsaw 3D is great.
Well, and before, I don't want to get too off the rails. Mike, Netflix doesn't own the rights to TCM right now. This wasn't a rights issue. It was more or less like with all the stops and starts. This movie had a lot of problems behind the scenes. Yeah. By the way, to everybody in here, Jason, what's up, man? J-Dev,
what's up, Jason?
Jose, how you guys doing? It had a lot of problems behind the scenes. There was a previous director that was on for a few weeks, and then they were like, I don't know if it was him that was like, screw this. It was creative differences, as they said. Well, they had already started filming. So then this David Blue Garcia guy steps into the role, and they're like, hey, finish the movie. But before they finished it, there was a bunch of rewrites and location changes. And I mean, there was a lot that went on behind the scenes. So the fact that they even got this movie made and it looks competently made at that is pretty impressive. I'm not going to lie. That's pretty impressive. But yes, Ramon. But I mean, my thing is like, what I wanted to say about this movie is, at least because Christian's right on here. This movie looks like it's going to be a fun popcorn flick. It's going to be gory. You're not going to walk away from this movie feeling like you had some profound experience. That was the problem, I think, with the prequel that came out a few years ago, Leatherface. Those assholes really thought they were giving us something that was like, oh, this is gold. This is the origin story. Like, you're going to love this. We're going to really surprise you and give you something new. I don't feel like that's the way you should approach a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. I think you should approach it as Leatherface is your main character. Have him be in the movie the whole time and kill a bunch of people in really cool ways. So, I feel like you lean into that.
My opinion with Leatherface is it's my least favorite of the franchise. I know it's probably better than some of the other Chainsaw films we have. But the biggest thing with that is I really felt like they took a script and they were like, okay, let's add Leatherface in there, because literally the second act is a totally different movie. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that one.
You get Leatherface for like a whole 3 minutes at the very end. I don't know. I mean, I just wanted to address what Christian had said, because I feel like that is a really good point to take into account. This is the fine line that people have to understand. Like, Halloween 2018 was trying to take itself seriously. Halloween Kills, not as much. And if you went into Halloween Kills like, oh, this is just going to be a bloodbath that's fun, you probably had a better time than someone that was expecting some profound experience. And I think that Texas Chainsaw Massacre is doing the right thing in, leaning into, this is just going to be fun, man. Like, let's not overthink this. Let's not do anything crazy. Let's just have fun. Yeah. So there's that. I guess I'll start with you, Christian, with this next topic, because we might as well talk about it. I mean, we might as well talk about our thoughts on this, because I want to know, you would probably be the biggest TCM fan out of the three of us. I know that's your favorite horror movie of all time. Sally Hardesty, man, explain it to me. What do you think? What are your thoughts on that? Dish it out.
I think that it looks worse now because of Halloween 2018. Let's say Halloween 2018 never exists or anything. I think you'd still have a lot of people like, Burns has passed away, leave it alone. And other people will probably just say, cool, it's good to see the character. I don't like it because of the timing. I really just think it seems really copycatish, which is just not good. Maybe the actress is fine. I mean, it really has nothing. It has nothing to do with the actress, quite frankly. It doesn't matter. She looks fine, But I feel bad for her, because I mean, she's gonna have a lot of shit thrown at her when this movie comes out from fans, and it sucks. I feel bad for her. I really do. But it's really bad timing. That's what I think. The timing really couldn't have been any worse to do a movie with this kind of plot line.
Not just that, but what you said about fans just throwing shit at her, I immediately think about JC Brandy from Halloween 6, because I felt so bad for that woman, because Miramax wanted to nickel and dime Danielle Harris, so they replaced her, and JC Brandy did not do poorly at all, but it was such a small part, but a major role, and so many people give her shit for that. So I can't imagine, this actress, like the kind of shit she might get, because this leads into, Mike asked a question. Do you guys think that Texas Chainsaw Massacre benefits from being everyone's third or fourth favorite franchise? It doesn't get as much hate as the things that hinder the big three. And I think this is part and parcel to what we're talking about. Yes, absolutely. You can bring the character of Sally back and the internet's not going to explode negatively about that. I mean, the hardcore fans are going to be like, that might be kind of dumb, but it's not going to be a mess. Whereas if you saw what happened with Laurie Strode. I mean, there were two camps. I'm all for it. Screw that. And there's no in between there. And I feel like if you did the same thing with Nancy Thompson, it would be the same thing. People love it or they hate it. And there's no in between. So yeah, I think it does benefit from that. But Justin, what do you think? How do you feel about the inclusion of the Sally Hardesty character again?
Well, like I said in the beginning, I like it. I mean, I don't think she's going to get a lot of crap. I really don't. Again, this isn't a... You what?
She will. Justin, I'm telling you, horror fan social media is a black hole.
I mean, it probably will, but I don't think she's gonna do a terrible job or anything. Like, I mean, Marilyn Burns is classic, and I think if she were still around, they would have brought her back. If she were still here with us today. But for me at least, when I looked at her, I was like, okay, this could be Sally grown up. Like, this could be an older Sally. Like, it looked believable. So yeah, she might get crap, but I think she's gonna give a good performance.
Rudy with the comment of the day. Toxic fandom, you say? Yes.
I'm looking forward to seeing how she does.
The timing is so bad on this.
But I will say something though. Like if we, and I love Scream. I love Neve Campbell, but I mean they did the same thing with Scream. If you think about it, they brought back Neve.
But it's been
Halloween
Neve. It's been Neve every movie. It's a lot easier to bring Neve back because the story's always been Sydney started the story. Her mom started everything. So it's easier to explain that. Whereas I think the reason that it's like Christian said, it's bad timing. And my one problem with the trailer was one line that pissed me off beyond belief. I've waited 50 years for this night. I mean, not only is it bad, you leaned into the Laurie Strode. That's basically a Halloween quote right there. Like, come on.
Yeah.
But,
I almost wonder if they would have gone less off the nose and had Carolyn Williams come back from part 2, and if she would have been the one. I think fans probably would have. Some of the hardcore fans probably would have been like, "That's cool. They're bringing Carolyn Williams back." She's a horror icon. She's done a lot of she's in a lot of Adam Green movies now. Carolyn Williams' stepfather too. And Texas Chainsaw too. So it's like, I almost wonder if they would have gone a little less off the nose instead of doing a Sally Hardesty thing and had brought Stretch back.
Well, that
would have been interesting because she lived in part 2.
She did, and Caroline Williams is still acting, although sparingly.
That's what I'm saying.
She is still acting, and I want to say, and I don't know if you guys agree with this, I prefer the character of Stretch over Sally Hardesty personally. I just enjoyed the performance more. Sally, she is a final girl in her own right. It's an icon. That the shot of her in the back of the pickup truck is like horror history, but like I just think that. I just enjoyed the character of Stretch more than Sally. So if you would have been like, yeah, we're going to bring back Caroline Williams and we're going to revisit Stretch, I think I would have been like, okay, like I'm cool with that. She lived. You don't have to retcon anything. It's the same actress. I don't know. Justin, would you have been cool with her coming back?
Yeah. I mean, I would have been fine with it. I like the character Stretch. So I think I'm more of a Sally fan, but I like Stretch. She's a lot of fun. And I'll always say that, like, the character in Hatchet 3, like, Adam Green wrote that part for, drawing a blank, Caroline Williams. And, like, he automatically thought of the character Stretch. Because if it wasn't a different name, like, I would have been like, that's Stretch. Like, I almost feel like it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I would have liked it.
Hey, she cameos in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 as a nurse.
Yeah, and if you guys remember in Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, she does have a small little moment, and everybody thinks that's Stretch.
But we're already talking about 2 different studios, MGM and whoever owns Texas Chainsaw. Is it Dark Sky or something? So it's like, it's already difficult to do. I mean, look, I think the Sally Hardesty character, the performance that Miss Burns gave, her descent into madness, is something to be totally admired in that film. And a lot of it wasn't acting. She said they literally shot 24 hours a day in a nasty ass house in southern Texas. So it's like that. I think she's just amazing in that movie. But nobody casual that watches this movie is going to have any clue about her because they probably haven't seen the movie. I'm not jaded enough to not think that Jamie Lee Curtis has a billion times more clout as a person and as an actor and as a character than Sally Hardesty does. I mean, in Halloween, it's probably 10-1, like with not Nightmare on Elm Street, with Texas Chainsaw Massacre fandom, maybe even 100-1. Let's be honest, it's probably more like 100-1. So, yeah, just again, horrible timing. I would have completely done away with that. Make it a cop that was there from that time that, just like
fuck it, bring Arlie Ermey back.
Yeah, from the dead,
I know, right?
I mean,
Look, and by the way, yeah, sorry guys. I got a kid running around, so I know you guys saw him, and probably have heard him periodically. So I apologize for that. Yeah, I mean, I agree with both of what you guys are saying. It's again, it's not the plot point. The plot point doesn't bother me necessarily. I don't mind bringing back, quote unquote legacy characters years later. But my thing is just like, if this is going to be the new rage of the horror genre, it's ironic because I love Halloween, so it's kind of Halloween's fault. But I just don't think I'm going to be into that being the rage. I mean, what's next? Oh, this would be badass though. Leprechaun comes back and you get Jennifer Aniston back.
No.
I'd watch it. I'd watch it.
Monkeys will come out of your butt before that happens.
Oh yeah, never.
Although they reference her character in Leprechaun Returns, her character, the main character is the daughter of Jennifer Aniston. So Leprechaun Returns. It's like it's one of those things. It's like chasing a trend in movies. It's never a good thing. Maybe obviously there's a lot of great slasher films that came out of really post Friday the 13th, not necessarily Halloween, because if you really look at what happened, Friday the 13th set the genuine trend of gory slasher films. Halloween didn't do that, right? And there's a lot of great films that came from Friday the 13th, but I don't know. Chasing the trend is never the best thing to do, and that's what the problem with this is, I think.
Okay, we can't mess up. Yeah, we're gonna get canceled. We're gonna get canceled by Piz if we mess up. So
first of all, how dare you? And I'll be speaking to YouTube about this.
The thing about legacy characters, and I'll say this: if the movie's good, I'm happy with it. Like, I don't mind if they bring characters back. Like, if they do a Nightmare on Elm Street and they bring back Robert and they bring back Heather Langenkamp, I'll be like, yeah.
Christian and I agreed last night. We are on the no Robert.
I'm on a no Robert, no Nancy thing. I don't want either one of them. I am
too. Here's the thing: if they bring back one, don't bring the other one back, then it won't feel epic.
Well, I was telling Nick, the word to describe that, if they brought Nancy back and not Robert, is disgusting. It just feels disgusting to me.
No, I agree.
Mm-hmm. I either don't want another movie at all. I have plenty of lovely Elm Street films I'll enjoy till I'm dead in the grave. But if we do another one, I want completely fresh slate. Fresh slate. That's what I want.
Yeah, and I would say that again, I mean, and this is pertinent to what we're talking about, everybody in the chat. We're kind of going off on a tangent about the legacy characters, but it's important in horror today because it's definitely started conversation. And my thing is, if Heather were to come back, they would bring Robert back. They just would. And he's already said he would do one more. So, like, if they go this route and they're like, okay, let's bring Nancy Thompson back, Robert's going to come back to play Freddy. But I am in the camp, as Christian is in the camp, I don't want them to bring her back because I feel like Nightmare is a series that there's just limitless possibility. It's a killer in your dreams. Like, you're not even really like confined to any, the rules are just a lot more loose in that franchise. So I feel that's why I bring up this conversation about this new trend, because there's certain franchises that I do not think need to do that. And Nightmare is one that it's better served. I mean, I would be okay with Jackie Earle Haley coming back, even though I know he never would. But I would be fine with that.
I would be more, I mean, I love the character Nancy. I'd be more open with, Jesse coming back or even Alice. I love the character Alice in Nightmare on Elm Street franchise.
So do I, but monkeys would have to fly out my butt for them to pay money to do that too.
I was going to say, now I've talked myself into Jennifer Aniston coming back to Leprechaun. Like, we got to get a petition started. We got to do that. So next, this is an important question, believe it or not, for a lot of people. And Piz, yes, it'll be a requel, 100%. Unfortunately, true. But as long as he's not CGI, I'm good. I feel the same way. Jackie Earle Haley's performance wasn't bad. It was the damn CGI.
And for the record, my concern is if they just do one movie, cool. Then, here's the thing. If they do one movie, cool, then I'm fine if Robert comes back. But he can't do it long term. And you never want somebody to stay too late at the party. I don't know. There'll never be a Freddy that ever even, I love Jack Hero Haley. He's a world-class actor. He's done some amazing movies with Martin Scorsese, but let's face it, him being Freddy, it's great value. I like him, but it's great value to a name brand. And everybody will be great value. You'll never replace Robert, ever. I don't care who it is. No one will touch him, but I don't know. It's like
Kevin Bacon.
The funny thing about that damn Kevin Bacon thing, dude, there was a time where everybody on the internet was making videos saying Kevin Bacon wants to play Freddy. All it was like a passing conversation, like in an interview in like Variety. It wasn't even about Elm Street. And he's like, would you ever play a character like Freddy? And his answer was, yeah, sure, that'd be cool. And people are thinking he's playing Freddy. It's like, calm down, calm down, guys.
Hey, I'll say this: if we never get one with Robert or Heather again, we have New Nightmare, and I feel like that is like the early of revivals, because if you think about it, we had not had Heather Langenkamp since Dream Warriors, and for me, that's a fantastic movie. So
Bobby is 150% right. He's got the body, he's got the skeletal face. I would love a Richard Brake Freddy. I would. I think he's the man for the job. If they were, I'm sorry, Justin, but I saw that and I had to hurry up and get it out.
I think that he actually has been. I think he's been asked about that before, and he has said like, "Oh yeah, I would absolutely do that." But I feel like he's an actor that wouldn't be on whoever studio's radar does this. Because I mean, like, let's be honest, like the studio that's going to eventually get their hands on this is going to be whoever's willing to pay the Craven estate enough, because that's the only thing holding it up is the estate. So who's going to pony up the money? Well, Jason Blum said on Twitter a couple weeks ago he's been trying to get Nightmare and Friday's rights for years. And he's still trying. So it's just eventually someone's going to get these rights, and I feel like they might go a little glossy on us. If it's Blumhouse, they will, which would suck. But regardless, that is a great point, Bobby. But I want to ask you guys, this is something that's very important in this franchise, and Christian and I have talked about this before. What do you guys think of the aesthetic, the setting? Did this feel and look like Texas to you? Did you watch this trailer and go, okay, I believe that's the Deep South right there? Or were you like, where the hell is this?
Go ahead, Justin.
Okay. No, I did. I thought it was believable. I was like, that's Texas right there. And like even the shot, like we were talking about like Leatherface popping out of cornfields, you could tell like it was sweaty and Texas heat. And no, I find it very believable that this is Texas. So I like the setting. I like the look of it. So
Christian?
Me personally, I can smell a backlot a mile away. I got the most artificial Texas feeling in the world, but still it's Texas, but it is, to me, it looks so artificial, but I love it. I love that. To me, it looks very artificial. And like, because is this one in Bulgaria too? I would be surprised.
Yeah, it was either Bulgaria, Romania, something like that.
It was. It's to me, it seemed very artificial, but it still was Texas. It was just art. It's high fructose corn syrup. It's not the real thing, but I loved it. I loved what I saw. Again, the corn shots of him popping his head out is amazing. So
yeah, I guess asking Drew would be a good place to go with this, because Drew lives in Texas, but Drew maintains that Texas Chainsaw 3 doesn't look like Texas, where Christian and I feel like it does. So, and I've only been to Texas one time in my life, and I was like 8, so I couldn't even really tell you.
It's not really an argument like to be had, but all I'm saying is I worked in Midland, Odessa, which is basically right on the outskirts of New Mexico, and I swear to God, it looked identical to the main strip of road in the beginning of the movie. So that's all I'm coming from.
I mean, I agree. I traveled through Texas, so
yeah.
It's just plain. It's desert plain.
It really is, with a couple big cities in there. I mean, that's a big ass state, and most of it is like desert. So,
but this movie felt like artificial Texas to me. But you know what? To hell with it. Like I liked what I saw. But to me, it looked like that town was set designed or You know, they built that shit, that little town or whatever, or maybe not. I don't know. It just looked artificial to me.
Well,
But
the
I'm not
budget
complaining.
wasn't very big for this movie, so they
Right.
were definitely constrained with what they had to work with. So I wonder if
Well,
it was.
yeah, I was gonna say, what am I saying? They built the town. No, they probably found some place to film whatever, because you knew the shot like, hey, I don't want to live here. That one kid, and they're in like a little.
Yeah.
It just looked like some kind of deserted little.
Well, did they shoot
thing.
this overseas? Like, was this something
Yeah.
that they shot over?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
well, I
probably
think they
Bulgaria.
I think they shot it during the pandemic, so they probably couldn't, shoot it in.
For the record, I want a Bulgaria shot Halloween one day.
No,
I have completely opened up to a Bulgaria shot Halloween film.
Christian won't get off this. Justin, do you remember Halloween Returns, the movie they were going to make with Patrick Melton and Marcus Dunstan, where he was on death row? Okay, so Malik Akkad opened up about that a few months ago, or maybe it was a year or so ago, when they were like reflecting on Halloween coming back. And he was like, we were like a week away from shooting Halloween Returns. Everything was in place. And they were like, I guess the company they were working with was like, we're shooting in Bulgaria. And Malik Akkad said no. And that's why that all went to shit, because of Bulgaria. He said Haddonfield is middle America. Bulgaria does not look or feel like middle America. Obviously, he was like, we're not shooting a Halloween movie there. And that is why Halloween Returns disappeared. So now Christian, he's been talking about Halloween.
It's got a charm. It's just like something about this Bulgaria, because I did some research on horror film shot Bulgaria. I can smell it a mile away now. I can tell it's a certain charm to it. I kind of like it. Fuck it, give me Bulgaria Halloween, man.
If it looked like Haddonfield, yeah, it'd be cool. But yeah, I like the middle, the kind of small town, every kind of town look and feel. So middle America town.
Justin,
I mean, think about this though. They did shoot Carpenter's Halloween in California. So.
Oh, they did. And but I'll tell you something. I've been to those filming locations, and it's like plucked right out of the Midwest. It's so weird. No, I know you like the way it looks. I'm just saying it was crazy to me to go there and see it, because the GPS says I'm 2 miles away from the Myers house or whatever, and I'm like, there's palm trees.
Strip. What are we doing? Yeah,
and stuff everywhere. And you turn down a street, and it's just like middle America.
Did you see the Elm Street house when you were down there?
Yeah. Yep. I took a picture on the front porch of the Elm Street house. And again, the funny thing about the Elm Street house is it's like 2 or 3 streets away from the Doyle house and the Wallace house.
It's amazing.
And I mean, these houses, these streets, they are seriously just like Midwestern towns. Like that's what they look like. Yes. And it was just crazy to me, because you would turn off the street, and then you got palm trees and 1,500 cars coming down this main roadway. And you're just like, how the hell is that like a quiet neighborhood right back there? But you just didn't think it would exist in California. Literally, Hollywood Boulevard, as you're driving past the Hollywood Walk of Fame, all of this stuff, take a right, and it's not even a quarter of a mile. You turn right on this street, and then an immediate left, and it's the street from Halloween H2O, where Marion's house is and Joseph Gordon-Levitt's house is. It's right off Hollywood Boulevard. Right. I was like, what the hell? As soon as I pulled onto it, I was like, dude, Hollywood Boulevard is right there. Like, movie magic sometimes, man, with these settings, they can really pull the wool over your eyes, and you have no idea where it actually was shot.
Did you get to see the Rob Zombie's Michael Myers house? Because when I was in Pasadena, we got to see that, so that was pretty cool.
I hit every location from the original Halloween, even Smith's Grove, the Hollywood Reservoir. I hit every location from Rob's Halloween except the truck stop where Joe Grizzly died, because I think that was like 2 hours away. That was something they shot randomly pretty much. And I hit a lot of Halloween too, because most of that was filmed in Sierra Madre. I actually snuck into the Veterans Hospital that served as the hospital. And you're not allowed to. Like, the gates were closed. It's a VA hospital. And I remember Sean Clark did it on Horror's Hollow Grounds, if you guys watched that episode. And he was like, he recorded really quick, and he was like, we're not supposed to be here. Like, we'll get kicked out. It was the same way, man. I walked in through a hole in the fence, and my wife was totally cool with it. I thought she was going to be like, no, don't go in there. And we walked around the whole complex, No one came outside. No one said anything to us. I got all the shots where, you know, Mr. Garrett, where he went back into the back room and got his self murdered. Yeah, it was cool. I'm not trying to go on a tangent, but yeah, I saw a bunch of that shit. And the point is, it's just like this stuff is like, especially in a state like California, and Texas is the same. It's so big that there's so many different landscapes there. It could pass as anything in those states. You could say, I'm going to film a beach movie. I'm going to film a Haddonfield, Illinois setting movie. I mean, it all works. So,
Yeah,
you know,
no, it does. I mean, I wasn't complaining about it, like them shooting
I know.
Haddonfield in California. I've been there too, and I love it. Like you said, those streets, that does look like a hometown. It doesn't even seem like California. So yeah,
you know something that I learned after the fact that kind of pissed me off. I didn't even realize I was on the street where Annie said speed kills. That street is the street that Laurie's house is on from the remake, Rob Zombie's Halloween. That's the same street. I didn't even know it. I was just there for Laurie's house. And yeah, and then I Googled it later. They're like, oh, actually, that's the street where Annie yelled that too. I was like, son of a bitch.
I love
But
that.
anyway,
cool
enough about Halloween. Let's see. I'm going to ask you guys. Somebody mentioned the runtime of this movie is 1 hour and 22 minutes. Now, you're going to have people that are going to be in two camps, negative or positive, obviously. I think that's fine. I don't need a 2-hour TCM movie. Yeah.
I'm fine with it. Like, look, if it's a great movie or even a good movie, that's all that matters to me. So,
yeah, I mean, a good movie, you don't feel a 2-hour. Like, when I watch Martin Scorsese films, like when I watch Casino, that is the fastest, like 2 hours and 15 minutes or whatever it is ever. It's all, I think it all has to do with structure and timing and just you can't be boring, you know, but I'm totally fine with 1 hour and 20 minutes. That's beautiful for me.
Same. What's up,
we got Sean Clark in the house. What's up, Sean, my dude? I hope you're doing well, man. Sincerely, you know, sending you best wishes. And Sean says, I still think the perfect Freddy replacement would be Robert Knepper. Is that how you pronounce that? I think so.
Robert Knepper.
Yeah, sorry about your dog. Yeah. Sorry about your dog, Sean. I went through that. I lost 2 in a month last year. I wanted to just die. So I feel your pain. It's brutal.
Send in love, Sean.
Yeah, absolutely, man. But as far as Robert Knepper as Freddy, look him up real quick.
That is a good one. I'm still in the Richard Brake camp, but that, you know.
Okay.
Oh yes, dude. Yes.
Robert would be a good one too.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you could see the glare is like not great.
Oh, I could see it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I could totally see that. Yeah.
He got the build for it. Yeah.
He does. Oh yeah. Like I'd be totally happy with that.
Dennis, we don't know if this is going to get physically released. Christian made a good point last week when I was talking to him about this.
I was going to say
someone is bound to release it. Like whether it's officially released or not, people are going to rip this.
They will.
They'll do it.
Look, that's the thing. I get people are so upset. They're thinking it's not going to get physical release. It very well could. It's not a Netflix property. It's not produced by Netflix. It's just they have the exclusivity to put it out to launch the movie on their platform. So it's a very odd. This is a very odd situation that I can't recall seeing happen before, where a movie gets made by a studio and then all of a sudden they say, let's just release it on Netflix. It's very interesting. You would think maybe another site would get it, but I wouldn't be. It just depends. It really just depends. Sean brings up a good. I've got The Irishman from Criterion, which is still way better than watching it on Netflix. That release is amazing and the picture quality is gorgeous. But I think people should calm down a little bit. They want to own this movie. I get it. You can't not own it. There can't be a Texas Chainsaw film and you can't own it. That's unreligious, you know. But if at the very, very least, Stinky Tuna will make a Blu-ray of it. At the very least.
I think this will, and like Christian said, like this is from Legendary Pictures. They let Netflix release it, and normally most of the time, if it's a film that was made that's not, wasn't like produced by Netflix, yeah, most of the time they do release this. So, and when it's a franchise, like it's part of a franchise, they're gonna see this as, this is gonna make money.
The
We're
opportunity,
gonna
yeah.
release this. Yeah, the
Yeah,
opportunity.
and I
So,
was gonna say something in regards to that. People need to understand. I've seen some. It's been fuzzy online with some people like, oh my god, this is a Netflix original. Like my brother came
It's
home
not.
yesterday. I
Yeah.
know, and he
Right.
was like, oh dude, I saw Netflix made a new Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Guys, this, to anybody watching, this is a Legendary Pictures Texas Chainsaw Massacre film that is just being distributed by Netflix. It is not a Netflix original. But that kind of brings me to my next point. I know this is convenient to us I mean, everybody has Netflix, pretty much everybody. So it's going to be convenient to us to just be able to watch it as soon as it drops, in our house, like whatever, not have to do anything. But with the way that slashers have been coming back, do you feel like there's maybe a missed opportunity here? Like, because
Yeah.
this wouldn't have opened like Scream or Halloween, but this would have made its money back and probably then some. So I mean, even 3D did. And 3D, it got bad reviews and a lot of fans didn't like it. But it made decent money. So I personally feel like it was a mistake to make. You could do both, like Halloween Kills did. I mean, what does it hurt? I do think there's a missed opportunity here. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, I think so. I think they could have released this movie in theaters. I mean, look at how I mean, I think what happened though is, and I could be wrong, but I think they had this contract already made before Halloween Kills came out, and then Halloween Kills made $55 million its opening weekend, and then look at Scream and that success there. So I think they could have released this in theaters. Maybe not, a summer release it in April or something, but I think it would have made its money. I mean, the way that slashers are coming back, and I hope,
What about you, Christian?
To come back. Yeah.
It's hard to comment on this. I don't know the logistics behind the Netflix deal. How much did Netflix pay to get it for their site? Are they seeing how many people watch the film and giving them dividends off of that? I don't, it's hard to comment on. It's hard to comment on that. It really is. Now, I really think COVID was probably a big factor in them going to Netflix, but I have no idea if Legendary made it. What if Legendary made a shit ton of money from this Netflix deal? We don't know. They don't just offer that information up to us. So who knows if they got X amount for getting it right away, or if they're getting dividends and Netflix is saying, hey, well, you're going to make X per watch, or how many downloads or views you guys get. We don't know. So it's hard to say if it's a missed opportunity or not. I'm sure that Legendary, the people involved, probably are doing okay. They're probably happy with what they did.
I think that one thing too that people have to understand, and I don't think a lot of people have taken this into consideration. You brought a good point about we don't know the financials behind this. A lot of people thought that Halloween Kills was, oh man, you just took some of the profit you were going to get by only releasing it in theaters. Not really, because although Peacock is a Universal company, it's a branch of Universal, there still had to be a deal behind the scenes there with Blumhouse. There had to be a, yes, we're a co-distributor or the main distributor on this movie, but to put it on our streaming service day and date, we're going to have to pay Blumhouse some amount of money. So they probably got a nice check for that. And I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with the news, but Peacock is tanking right now. It is in the shitter.
I love Peacock. I absolutely love it.
I have it. I am happy with it too. But last week, some numbers came out. I can't remember how much they lost, like 1.7 billion or something like. It was insane. Like they're in the shitter right now. And
I knew this would happen. We are officially in the streaming wars. There's too many streaming platforms. There's gonna be some absorbing pretty soon. I know it. I think Paramount Plus is going to do good. They have an amazing selection, and they're cheap.
And they have some good original content coming out this year. Pet Cemetery, the new movie, that's a Paramount exclusive, Paramount Plus. I'm excited for that. The thing with Peacock is one of their biggest draws was The Office and Halloween Kills. Aside from that, what have you really heard about? like, oh shit, I got to get Peacock. Like, no, it was,
No.
oh
Well,
damn,
they have WWE, which is
yeah,
probably at this point at least 50% of their of their subscriber base, at least, because the WWE network is limitless. If there was a wrestling match, damn near you can watch it on there at on demand. So WWE is going to keep them gonna keep them at least in the black, but they probably got a massive bump with Halloween Kills.
they
And
did.
then
Their
they lost
viewership, yeah. I can't remember the numbers that came out in November. Maybe it was December, but they showed like the new subscriptions they got with Halloween Kills. That was their high water point, right? Watermark, whatever the hell, high water point. Yeah, was Halloween Kills. And then soon as that was done, it went back down. And it's just like, I think Peacock, until they do something like Netflix got big because they were the first one, obviously, but also they
Right.
had stuff like Stranger Things, like, and the show You and Tiger King, all these shows. Every year they come out with a new original show that captivates people, and that's how they keep people in there. You got to pump out original content. You have to, and I just don't think Peacock does it.
And it's a trusted brand. It's a trusted brand. Netflix is you can't, all you can do is try to replicate a streaming service like them afterwards. So I think Netflix will always be around. But another thing too, I think people, or I think about was, people were thinking like Netflix is so dumb for getting rid of The Office and blah blah blah. Well, I think Office burnout is finally starting to settle in with a lot of people. I mean, The Office really blew up over the last 4 or 5 years or so, and people were religiously watching it on Netflix. And I think once they lost it on Netflix, they stopped watching it for a few days and didn't get Peacock, and they were like, there is life after The Office. I don't have to
Yeah.
watch this every day. I think
See,
there's a lot of burnout. I think the burnout is really settling in with The Office, and I think people are finally like, I know I stopped watching it about half a year ago. I was like, you know what? I got to watch something else because I watch it religious. It's comfort TV. Don't get me wrong.
yeah,
I can watch, but I think the burnout is starting to settle in, and I think people are like, they're I think Peacock has a lot of uphill battles. They've got to WWE's gonna keep them in the black, I think, but there's a lot of competition. There's Hulu, and they offer live TV, so there's Vudu. Shudder has now cornered the horror market, and I think that they're doing pretty good. So
yeah.
there's just a lot of competition out there. But
Hey,
I had
Josh.
something. I had something I thought about. I wanted to say, in terms of other properties getting revitalized now. I think that a lot of companies were probably wanting to see somebody take the plunge after Halloween, because Halloween is a special thing, and a sequel to the movie, they're not going to be so concerned about box office possibly. But I think Scream being successful may be a real catalyst, because they're seeing companies are probably going to be willing to pay more because there's a follow-up example to Halloween. So I think Scream might actually be a bigger beneficiary to possibly seeing more big horror names be revitalized.
Well, you guys want to hear something crazy that I never thought I would say. By the way, Josh, yes, thanks, man. I appreciate that. I am not ready for the ice storm that we're about to get. So hang in there. But I never thought I would say this. You guys know that Scream could potentially beat Halloween Kills box office? The way it's tracking right now? It's going to be close. It's going to be very close. But I knew Scream would do well. I didn't know it was going to have the legs that it's had. It's had pretty good legs. Yeah. And I think after today, it'll be right around 110 million worldwide. Halloween Kills did 132. So,
and that's really not, and it's really not fair still. I would probably add another like 40 or 50 million if you took away like the Peacock thing. Maybe not 4, maybe let's say 20. Let's say 20 million. Let's just add.
Well, didn't they say how many people? I remember the numbers they put out of how many people watched Halloween Kills in the first week.
What, like 1 million people watched?
It was Peacock's biggest event ever. Yeah, it was their most successful event ever. So
yeah, it probably would have knocked on 200 million.
Yeah, I think so too. It would have made a lot more.
They probably would have knocked on 200 million. So, but God bless Scream, man. They deserve it. They made a good film, so they deserve it.
Agreed.
Yeah. Well, I guess we can wrap this up with final thoughts. I appreciate you guys being here today. It wasn't as long as it normally is. It's one movie. We haven't even seen the movie yet. All we could really talk about was the trailer. So it's kind of crazy that it went an hour. And we did go off on some tangents, but whatever. Just overall, first I'll start with you, Justin. What are you expecting with this movie? What do you hope to walk away from this movie from? And where do you want to see Leatherface go next?
I just want a fun movie. That's all I want. And if it's good, it's good. Like that's a good fun film. Like I'm not hyping myself up for this, but I just want a good time. Like give me like however long this movie is, almost an hour and a half of just fun and a good watch. That's what I've gotten from a lot of these Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies is, they've just been fun. Besides Leatherface, the last one that came out, I've had a good time with them.
You don't like two mentally ill people banging on a dead body?
No, I'm gonna pass on that. So
I'm warming up to it.
But no, I you know what? If I come out of this movie with just a fun time, a good watch, I'm good with that. Give me like some good food, a good movie, and I'm good. I'm good.
I saw really quick before we get to you, Christian. I saw a comment earlier in the chat from someone asking if we were going to do a watch along. That is a very good idea for the podcast. That is a very good idea,
without question.
And Justin and I do live commentaries as well. I'm just saying that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So
I want to do like retrospect on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series. Talk about them. So.
Yeah, that would be cool. We actually we started part 1 of that with Piz on the podcast, and once this one comes out, we're going to revisit it and tackle the second half of the franchise. That'll be fun.
Nice.
I would like to do it on one of our Monday shows too, Justin. So absolutely. But I mean, Christian, for you, closing thoughts. Where do you if you will be happy walking away from this movie as long as fill in the blank.
As long as I get more of what the trailer showed me. What is it called? What is the expression called? Carnage candy. Carnage candy. Bad humor, just silliness. Lovely Bulgaria, and a great Leatherface. The Sally thing, and it is what it is. So I warmed up to Jamie Lee. I didn't want her in another Halloween movie. I just wanted something else. But you know what? The movie's here, so I can bitch about it and watch it, or I can just watch it and not bitch about it. So I've decided to not bitch about it and watch it.
Yeah.
So I just want more of what that trailer showed me, man. That's really it. And if I get that, I'm good. And I can't wait to see in a year Sean Clark owning whatever props that movie has and have it in his house and visiting.
Sean's gonna own something from the set in Bulgaria, like just up the.
I just think Sean needs to get on a plane and just do like 30 movies. He's like, all right, we're here to. You can do so many filming locations.
Sean, if you're still in here, you better go. Yeah, go. You need to take a trip to Bulgaria one day and just all these obscure horror movies that were shot there. Give us a Horror's Hallowed Grounds, Bulgaria.
Yeah,
like. I am down for it. Or he brought up how House of Wax was a town literally built in the middle of nowhere in Australia.
Amazing.
Right. Yeah, that was cool.
That's
a good. I kind of got that vibe from. I got the same vibe. So.
When I watch House of Wax, like I know it, like they built the whole town, but when I watch House of Wax, I think they actually shot in a town. Like it's amazing. So.
Well, it's so charming, and it's it's a horror movie. For God's sake,
it's easy when it's so self-contained, like House of Wax is. As long as you build a good set and you keep it contained, it's fine. It's when you start to go, well, what's going on over here outside on this side of the woods? Like, no. Just keep it contained. That's what I need. If this movie does that too, then you can sell me on Bulgaria. I won't give a shit. Just keep it contained. None of this crazy world building and open world. No, I don't need all that. But Jason, thank you so much, man. And the fact that you've only seen one TCM is a problem. You're gonna have to rectify that because there are some bangers in this franchise. I mean, even the ones that people would say objectively are bad are still fun as hell to watch. Like The Next Generation is one of the craziest movies you'll ever watch in your life.
Good time.
It's a good time. But yeah, I really do appreciate that, man. look, guys, I feel the same way as you guys. Just give me carnage. Give me I don't even care. I want to see a bunch of, woke SJW kids getting murdered in Texas, like, hey, I'm, yes, pumpkin cake. I am. It's a Spider-Man shirt. So it's like, I want to have,
that's been throwing me off.
Yeah, I know. But, I mean, that's where I stand on it too. And I will say too, I told Christian this, and I think I told you too, Justin. I watched the extended cut of Halloween Kills the other night, and I liked the movie even more. And I think the extended cut is the better version.
I'm going to say, yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I watched it too. I loved it. I mean, I still have problems with the movie, but I love that cut of the film. I love the ending. And I rank it, I think when I first saw the film, or the first couple times, I ranked it below 2018. I actually prefer it over 2018 now.
Yeah, I think it's more fun. I think it's more fun.
Blast, dude. I had a good time with it. And the extended cut, I'm like, I love it.
I've really warmed up to I've really warmed up to Big John.
I have too. I love them now. When I first saw them, I was like, but I love them now. I was
They're
like,
awesome.
Great. So yeah, I
didn't realize one of those guys. I used to watch him on TV back in the day, on
Norm Macdonald. Yeah.
Well, that's Norm Macdonald. That's not Norm Macdonald. Norm Macdonald passed away last year.
That's the guy who was on
Michael McDonald. Michael.
Yeah.
Yes, his name's
Michael
McDonald. Yeah.
What's that? What was it?
No, it's cool. It's cool. But those guys are funny in that movie.
I love
and
them.
You know what? Honestly, if you win me over as a character, your cringy dialogue becomes beloved. So when he looks up and says, "You've come home," I like that. He can get away with it.
Somebody made a really good point about that. I don't think any of us have really thought about enough. People some people picked that apart and they're like, "This is stupid." It's like, is it really though? Because clearly these guys were secretly kind of obsessed with Michael Myers. They wanted to live in that house.
They're proud of
Michael to be there. They were probably like, "Oh shit, Michael! I would have showered today if I knew you were going to show up." I feel like that was a big moment for him. So I didn't think it was dumb.
I think there's some of the best. Rewatching it, I think there's some of the best characters in the movie.
Let's be honest. We're all big horror fans. If we lived in a house from one of those movies, that's not too far of a stretch.
Yeah.
Halloween Kills.
I don't know.
Halloween Kills extended cut, much better version. I know it's not too different.
I actually like the ending too.
I love the ending. I love the ending.
Old school.
I like a lot of. I like a lot of everything they added. I didn't like there's one scene that definitely should have been cut when Karen's looking for Ray and the dude's just like, "There shouldn't be in here." I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, I'm glad this got cut out.
That's a deleted scene right there, yeah.
One of the scenes should have never been deleted, which is Lonnie seeing Michael behind the hedge, and then he disappears and you get the creepy Myers house theme as Lonnie's approaching the hedge and then Michael's gone. I'm like, that was effective. That was creepy. Why would you take that out of the movie?
I could be wrong, but did Big John seem when he's gouging his eyes?
Oh, it was extended.
It was longer. It was extended. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. He got destroyed, man.
Yeah. Because I texted Christian about how I just watched the extended cut, and he was like, "Big John got fucked up." And I was yeah, he did.
I think they probably cut the Michael walking into the bush scene to make him seem more. I mean, when you watch the theatrical cut of the movie, Michael definitely seems like he just fucking pops in and out like a apparition or something. And I think cutting out that shot of him made when he just shows up on the street maybe more ghost-like or something.
Yeah.
Maybe again, I would assume every cut of that movie, besides some of the gore, was cut probably to go with the theme that they're making the next one try to have. He's some kind of weird ghost thing or something.
I just think that since it was in the flashback, it was that hedge scene was a lot more in line with the original film, so I felt like they should have kept it in there because that was the Michael that we knew from 1978. He was the creepy stalker that would disappear out of thin air, and you'd be like, "Where the hell did this guy go?" And I just, I don't know. I loved the music. I loved it, but Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to go on too much of a Halloween Kills tangent, guys, but I really liked the extended cut. I really did, and I think it's better than the theatrical cut. And
much better. Much.
I noticed it's really quick if we have a minute. I
go
noticed
ahead.
after we talked about Halloween, like a Halloween Ends podcast, and you're bringing up all this shit to me, I was watching the extended cut, and I was fucking standing up on the TV like this, looking for the radio station, and lo and behold, I saw it. But I'm wondering is that a CGI radio station, or if that's really in that?
I think the tower. I don't think that was practical in this movie because if you pay attention to it when they show it, it does look kind of fake. Like if you really pay attention to it. But I think it was just foreshadowing. I think they're going to build that set for this movie, obviously, but I don't think it was real in Kills.
And it's certainly in there.
It is.
That sucker's in there. Yeah. I don't know how I didn't notice that.
I told Christian, Justin, I don't know how you feel about this. I really think that Halloween Ends is going to give us a big revelation. I think it's going to. What the revelation is, I don't know, but I think it's going to involve Judith. That's where I
think so too. I think Judith is going to be a big part of it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with it. So I love the fact that I'm a huge Kyle Richards fan. We talked about Lindsay Wallace already. I'm glad they brought her back. Like I heard that they rewrote the script just to have her have a bigger part. So I'm happy she's coming back.
I can't wait for the Man in Black. So
hell yeah, dude. And but there is a rumor going around right now, and I looked it up just to see if it was real. It was going around on Twitter. I saw it on my Twitter, the Lost River Drive-In one, because the algorithm shows me a bunch of horror stuff on that one because it's literally just my YouTube one. And I saw one from a Halloween fan account that said that Bo Starr is apparently going to be a sheriff, the sheriff of Russellville in this new movie, the bordering town of Russellville. And I was looking on Twitter for it, and I saw other like Scooper fan accounts saying the same thing, and I'm like, no shit. Like, but I couldn't get verification on Google. There was nothing on Google that I saw that linked him to it, but I would think that maybe someone saw him on set. I don't know, but and then it makes you wonder, well, if they're going to bring in the sheriff of Russellville, the neighboring town, well, then you would have to think this is going to be a bigger movie in the sense of like Michael's probably on the loose. He's been gone for years. No one knows where he is. All these neighboring towns are working together to try. How would you feel about Bo Starr? I'd be fine with it. I mean,
are you kidding? That's fucking Bo Starr, man. Like, he's the man. He's my favorite cop.
Mine too. I mean, I still
like
Cyphers.
I still think that Brad Dourif was the best sheriff, and not best sheriff at doing his job. I just think he was the best one we got. I think the best at his job was definitely Meeker. No chance that Charles Cyphers was. Charles Cyphers was an awful police officer.
I don't think he was awful.
I don't know, man.
I'll say this about Charles Cyphers in Halloween Kills.
He was a good actor. I mean, he wasn't a good police officer like in the movie. He didn't do anything right. Like,
I think one of my biggest, and I rewatching it still, I think it's something that they should have used better is Charles Cyphers. Like he was
insufferable in that movie.
Yeah, they needed more from him. Like, come on, bring back Charles Cyphers.
Okay, well, everyone should talk.
Just not make him talk in sound bites. Every line he had was a sound bite, and it was just,
Laurie.
And
they fucking zoom in on him too, like something's about to happen, and that was it. I was like, David Gordon Green,
you're very well. Like, you bring back this legend, like he's
like 90 years old too. He can't really command a scene at like 90.
Well,
so like,
dude, he still. I mean, I would have done a lot more with him.
I really liked the deputy from Halloween 2, the blonde-haired guy.
Yes.
In a way, I kind of wish he would have taken the role for part 4.
He was going to be back in Halloween Returns. You guys remember that, right? Yeah. Yep. Hunter Von Leer is his name. Same actor.
Well, let's bring him back. I mean, it's the shit. We're past.
Think about it.
We're past only referencing the first movie. For God's sakes, they showed Annie's death. They showed Annie's death from part 2 already.
Yeah, I know.
Bring him back. But Bo Starr's 77, so he's not like dead. He's just old, but he's not.
Here's the thing about it. I love the fact that, and I don't hate these movies. We've talked about it, but I just think it's hilarious that we're now bringing like a clip of Annie from Halloween 2 in the movie when Halloween 2018 was being made. They're like, well, this is a direct sequel to the original. We're cutting out any other movie, and I'm like, you're bringing in clips of Annie from Halloween 2 and the rumors of Buse Star coming back. I mean, obviously, you know.
The Annie thing I can understand
Yes.
using that footage because who owns Halloween 2?
Universal. Yeah.
Exactly. So like,
but you know what I mean? It's just like I just think it's hilarious that they're now like backtracking a little bit.
I feel
they
like
make you
as
they make
fans,
you think
that's
of
a
every
reach.
entry.
Yeah, it's a reach for us. We're diehard fans. Anybody else that wasn't, if they watch that, since it is the same night, even though it's from Halloween 2, it's the same night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like it works. I know it's from a movie that they retconned, but it's pertinent to the story in the sense that, I mean, she did die in that movie. They were just showing the aftermath. I mean, I get it.
I just think it's funny. I mean, me personally, I'm like, you could have had Halloween 2 like exist in the universe, and the fact that I just think when Halloween
bring Tom Atkins
2018,
back.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go like on a rant or anything.
No, bring Tom Atkins back.
Tom Atkins, bring him back. Like, I mean, I just think it's hilarious that like when they were making Halloween 2018, they were like, we're erasing everything except for the original film, and now they're like bringing little.
Now you're seeing it's not a straight line to their finish line.
Right? No, and I'm like, part of me honestly wants them in Halloween Ends to say, yeah, they actually are brother and sister. But at the same time, it would piss me off because I'd be like, you sold me on this idea and retconned these movies, and then you didn't need to retcon them because in the end, you're like, yeah, they're brother and sister, whatever. Like, it would piss me off, but it would also be like, it makes more sense. Because I told Christian, I was listening to an interview with David Gordon Green and Jamie Lee on a podcast, and there was a really interesting question that Jamie Lee was asked, and I'm just going to say, it's going to play into Halloween Ends. They said that Laurie they asked Jamie Lee about like how she feels about Laurie being obsessed with Michael, and Jamie goes, oh, is she? He's like, are you being sarcastic? And she was like, I'm okay. Interesting take if that's what you think. And he's like, well, what do you mean? Can you tell me? And her response was, I still got another movie to shoot, but I'll tell you this. And she started singing, I wish I had you all alone, just the two of us. And that was all she said. And I was like, what is she hinting at? Like, there is going to be a revelation in this fucking movie, guys. I don't know what it is, but there's going to be a revelation. Like,
I
remember
Judah. 3 or 4 Halloweens ago, I watched Halloween 2, and then I watched the 2018 movie just for the fun of it. And I had a lot more fun watching Halloween 2018, watching all 3 of those back to back. And I know Halloween 2 did not exist, but it could have worked if they would have added Halloween 2 in there and make it a myth. They still could have made it a myth.
Well, Justin, I respect that, but it's all about that 4, 5, 6, baby.
Oh, I love 4, 5, and 6. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna cuss, but I love Halloween 4, 5, and
Justin,
6.
I'm keeping it PG. You foul mouth bastards. You do whatever you're doing.
I know. Okay, I'll say it. I fucking love Halloween 4, 5, and 6.
There you go. Look,
I love them.
Here's the best timeline, hands down. Halloween 2, Halloween 4, 5, and 6. Best timeline.
I still say Halloween 4 is the best comeback movie for Myers. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Halloween H2O. But I think Halloween 4, when you think of all these comeback Halloween movies that we had 4 H2O in 2018. Halloween 4 is still one of the best.
It's the real deal. It's the real deal.
It is, but I think character-wise, it's H2O, believe it or not, which is my least favorite out of those 3. But Laurie Strode she's amazing in H2O. That was fantastic. But guys, we're going on a tangent. We'll do a Halloween discussion another time.
We need to talk about a Halloween. We need to do rank our Halloween timelines. That's what we need to do.
Like I said, I think the best is 1, 2, 4, 5, 6.
Isn't that pathetic that that's actually a thing you could do?
I mean, I never thought
technically
it would be a
Texas Chainsaw Massacre has like 6 or 7 timelines too, so it's like
today on the Lost River Drive, and I'm ranking the
Dude, people are doing that.
Timeline.
Big channels are doing that, and I'm like, I haven't gone that far yet, but I probably will. Like, I probably
Dude,
will.
we
But
need to do it. We need to.
I'll let everybody
discuss,
know
we
right
need to
now.
talk.
I think the best timeline is 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. I
Oh,
really do,
without
because I think
question.
I
think
love all 5 of those movies.
I
I
love them
do,
too.
and I think they all serve a purpose. They all have merit. Because if you pick the timeline with H2O, guess what? You're retroactively picking Resurrection as well. You have to remember that. So if you're like, oh, I think it's the H2O timeline. All right, well, if you would take Resurrection over Halloween 6 as an ending to your timeline, you got something wrong. But
1, 2, 4, 5, 6.
Hey,
Second best timeline though is Halloween 3.
I love Halloween 3. I love Halloween 3.
I'm surprised you didn't say that was the first, because that's your favorite.
That is the first. That is the first.
Well, I'll tell you this about Halloween 5, because we all love it. Like, we all
Tell me
love
about Halloween 5.
But I'm glad more people are talking about it, because when I was younger, no one talked about it. And when they would talk about it, they'd be like, that movie sucks. I'm like, no, it doesn't. And so I'm glad there's people like you guys, and I think Lee's a fan of Halloween. Now, is it Lee Drum Dums?
Yep, Lee is a fan.
I'm glad more people are talking about it. It's like Halloween 3. I'm glad more people are talking about it, because when I saw Halloween 3 for the first time, everybody who I would talk to would say that movie sucked. And I'm glad there's a fan base for these movies. So
I kind of missed it when everybody hated Halloween 3, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it was kind of cool.
Yeah, I love being different.
When I watched it this the first time as a kid, my first time, I was like, I liked that movie. And my mom was like, that movie sucked. That was the last one she saw in theaters, because she felt betrayed.
You, Mom.
Yeah, I know. She went and saw it in theaters, and she was like, this didn't have Michael Myers, and that was the last one I ever saw. And I'm like, well, you're fucking wrong. So, but
Halloween 3 Halloween 3, I would say, like, if they ever did, like, I know Carpenter didn't direct it, but like, if there was ever a quadrilogy, like, I always felt like you could have taken The Thing, Halloween 3, Prince of Darkness, and In the Mouth of Madness, and made it a quadrilogy. I don't know why, but I always felt like
Apocalypse
like
style.
Yeah. But
well,
anyway.
Guys, we're going into crazy fan theories and Halloween talk, but that's
we've already done that.
Yeah, that's going to wrap. Oh yeah, if you guys want to check that out, Christian Hanna Horror, You Need a Horror podcast. We talked about crazy Halloween fan theories.
Jamie, Jamie, much love, my friend, but yes, I'm with you. I enjoy Halloween.
Hey,
I always say
I have a fun time when I watch it. Okay, Christian and I, we rewatched it. We had fun.
And this probably makes no sense, but I'm gonna just say, like, I always feel like Halloween Resurrection is like candy corn for me. It's not great, but it's fun, it's sticky, it's sweet, and that's all.
I think candy corn tastes like
bad
shit.
for your
So
teeth.
Me too. I was gonna say that's not a good analogy for me, Justin.
That's a great analogy.
I don't like candy corn.
I love candy corn. I mean, I love it, but I'm just saying it's fun, it's sweet, it's bad for your teeth. It's kind of like Halloween Resurrection for me. So.
Yeah,
it is bad for my teeth.
Yeah, hey, whatever timeline you guys love, whichever movies you guys love, feel free. But guys, that is going to do it for our Texas Chainsaw Massacre trailer talk, the movie, and Halloween talk. The movie will be out in 2.5 weeks, and I'm sure you will see Christian and I talking about it on the podcast. You'll see Justin and I talking about it on my channel. You'll see a review, I'm sure, on all of our channels from all three of us. So get ready to get down and dirty in the heat of Texas with Leatherface here in a few weeks. But that's going to be it, guys. Thanks so much for lending your time, your talents, and everything you brought to the stream tonight. I appreciate it. Thanks everybody for being in here, for being active, for chatting away. I read all your messages, I promise. I appreciate the feedback that you guys give. Leave a like on the stream. Check these guys out if you haven't already, although I'm sure you probably have. And that's going to do it for us. So to all of you guys, thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening.